Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, I'd like to just address the football last night. And I'm not going to talk about the football itself. It was never going to be anything other than an England victory. There was some good individual performances by some of the players last night. But I don't think Scotland gelled as a team as well as they could have. Certainly they have played better before. I'm not saying they were overwhelmed. That's certainly not the case. I just think England were far too good. And that was quite clearly it. So, end of the football report. However, the crowd report, of course, is a different matter. We didn't expect any less. The irony is, if the England fans had booed the Scottish national anthem, the Scots, the crowd there, would have been the first to complain. And yet they found it acceptable to boo, technically, their own national anthem as British subjects. And so I thought this morning, my first story is going to be something that's going to really, really annoy them. And I'm going to go with a wonderful little story. It's about the King, but it's also about Penny Mordaunt, who I find surprisingly attractive. I will be straight up. She's an attractive woman. But, I just thought this story's great. This is a great way of starting the day. And I know it's going to annoy the gnats. So let's go straight in here. And the reason I mention Penny Mordaunt being attractive is because I think you'll agree possibly so does the King. Here goes. So, Penny Mordaunt is the King's most trusted minister after 10 private audiences with Charles. King Charles rarely misses a chance for an audience with the glamorous Lord President before she chairs his monthly meetings of the Privy Council. Yes, indeed. These private audiences, I wonder how long they last. 20 minutes, half an hour? That's long enough, isn't it? She's a rather glamorous woman, as she was at the coronation. I think she looks marvellous in that picture, Apparently she's in a bit of training before, because that sword isn't a ceremonial sword as such. I mean, it was used in the ceremony, but it is a genuine, real sword. Apparently it weighs absolute bloody ton. And so she had to get sort of fit to carry it. It's a hell of a weight. But yeah, she looks pretty good in that, Anyway, the Penny Mordaunt's starring role at the coronation of King Charles has extended to her behind-the-scenes duties as Lord President of the Privy Council. And the Privy Council is like the King's advisors. And it's when you're a member of the Privy Council is when you can get yourself called the Right Honourable. Normally, they address my honourable friend, or whatever. But when they say the Right Honourable Friend, that means that they're a member of the Privy Council, which is just this little group of advisors. The Conservative MP stole the show back in May when she carried the ceremonial swords at Westminster Abbey in an already custom-made teal outfit with matching cape and headband with gold feather embroidery. And I think she looked marvellous. Now, what of course you could expect her to do with that sword is to plunge it into a box and then at the end open the door and go ta-da. Because before she became an MP and a politician, Penny Mordaunt used to be the magician's apprentice, not the apprentice, assistant. And in fact, she's a member of the Magic Circle. I'm none aware. Maybe the King was, he wanted to see her Magic Circle. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, she was the first ever woman to bear the sword of state and present the jewelled sword of offering to the King in a practice dating back to England's King Richard the Lionheart, Coeur de Lion, as he would have been known, because he didn't speak a word of English, he only spoke French, in 1189. And indeed, he didn't spend much time in England. Spent most of the time out in Jerusalem, doing his regal duties out there. Stopped in Cyprus for a bit, I think. Married Berengaria? God, it's a long time since I've done history. Anyway, as Lord President, she chairs meetings of the Privy Council when a group of senior ministers discuss government business, including upcoming bills with the monarch. The meetings generally take place on a monthly basis and are sometimes preceded by a private audience between the Sovereign and the Lord President. Miss Mordaunt has chaired 13 of the 14 Privy Councils called by King Charles during his first 12 months on the throne, and had a private audience on 10 occasions. We wonder how private that audience is. I'm only speculating, you know. I'm only speculating, but she is an attractive woman, and who could blame him? Her Majesty, previously, yes. Her Majesty was also reported to have had a soft spot for ex-Liberal Democrat leader Nick Clegg and granted him at least 38 audiences when he was Lord President from 2010 and 2015. Others have not been granted as much as one to one time. However, Jacob Rees-Mogg had just 9 audiences during more than 2.5 years in the role from July 19th to February 2022. Yeah, but to be fair, the Queen was getting on a bit then and probably didn't want to do too much. You know, prior to that, she was younger and fitter. I mean, by the time February 22 came along, she probably knew she was terminal. Another minister who seems to be winning the King's trust is Scottish Secretary Alistair Jack. And this again will annoy our SNP friends, where there's a very senior Scot who's involved very deeply with the Crown, and they're probably thinking he's a traitor, but you know what? He's not. He's attended 6 Privy Councils over the past year. Deputy Prime Minister Oliver Dowden has attended 4. Mel Stride attended 3 as acting, one as acting Lord President when Miss Mordaunt was unavailable in February. Both men were also granted an audience with the King on 1 occasion. It's a bit of an honour, you know. Anyway, the political chaos of the last few years is illustrated by the fact that Miss Mordaunt became the 7th Lord President in as many years when she took office on September the 6th, 2022. And let's hope she reigns supreme for a long time. I'm going to flick this picture up, and I'm going to tell you now, when I see this, my first thought was Game of Thrones. Absolutely. You got to think, that's made of solid gold, that handle and things. And gold, if you know, is very, very heavy. She is a well-fit Lord President in every possible way and every possible meaning of that term. But it is very Game of Thrones, quite literally, isn't it? Previous Lord Presidents have included Scottish Labour titans John Reid and Robin Cook, while Willie Whitelaw held it twice, once in 70 to 72 and again from 83 to 88 under Margaret Thatcher. Neville Chamberlain, Clement Attlee and Scottish University's MP John Anderson held the role during the Second World War, keeping the monarch up to speed with Winston Churchill's wartime government. I don't just talk about there. But, you know, I'm thinking, isn't Penny Mordaunt marvellous? It's not just me. She is gorgeous, isn't she? And she does look the part. She absolutely looks the role. I'd love her to see her walking down the street dressed like that. Make way for the Lord President. I'm fantasising. I should stop. It's the first video of the day. Gotta be happy. Leave a man to his dreams. She did that swimming show on TV. I tell you what, that will be my thumbnail. You're going to tell now, you've seen the thumbnail. When I do this, I'm going to do the thumbnail, and it'll be Penny Mordaunt in a swimsuit. I wonder if that's how she attends the King's private meetings. Hey, I bet he's pulling a rabbit out of his hat. Okay, I'm coming up. Now, I know for a fact that a lot of Nats watch my channel. I can tell from the comments. They must hate watch it, of course. You're all hate watching it. You Nats who are watching this. This is for you. Message for you, right? You the Nats that are watching this. I know you're watching, and I know you hate watching, and I know it annoys you. It really does. But you've got nothing else, have you? Go and watch your own channels and see how awful they are. Because they're just filled with hate and bile. I'm giving you love. Come, watch. Join us. See the truth that I'm telling. Change your mind. When presented with the facts, don't be so blind to them. Don't be so hostile just because you're in the wrong. And all these claims that King Charles, and they all say, not my king. Well, I've got news for you. Yes, he is. He is your king. And you know what happens when he stops being your king? William will be your king. In the meantime, I hope you are suitable. If you're not going to join us, I hope you're suitably annoyed by this video. Do at least admit that Penny Mordaunt is a fine woman. And that's why the king wants to spend so much time with her. Who can blame him? Maybe, No. Speculation is all. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, stay safe, stay well. And anything that annoys the gnats is a good thing. Bye.